somewhere in the middle of all of that, you know, sheathing escapade that I went through with my father, I said to him, yeah, pretty much worth it to just pay them to do that. I don't even know where to begin with this video. I really don't. We got some tiny homes going on. We got a boat. What the heck, a boat? We got glaciers around here somewhere. We got crickets in my shop. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's a cricket in the background somewhere. If you can't hear it, it's not sound effects. That's a real cricket in here. Oh, I'm going cricket crazy. I have stepped away from the tiny house for the last 2 weeks. Said it was like nice to step away from, but my goodness, have I missed it? And I want to get back to work. The boat isn't mine. It's a friend of mine, or at least I'm going to be helping him. He's going to be using my shop space. I've known this guy my entire life. We've been friends for like 30 years, which is one of the reasons why it's nice to be back home. I've got real, genuine friends. Not that my friends on the West Coast aren't real and genuine. It's just these guys are like my childhood friends. Replacing the floor of his boat for him. It's always nice to help out a friend, and he needed a space to do that, so voila. As I was saying, it's nice to step away from the tiny house, and I was at Gutted for like 11 days, 12 days, something like that. And then I went to the HART Tool event. I did not vlog at Gutted at all. I did some Instagram stuff, but really mostly I did not vlog there. Why didn't I do that? Because I've preached to so many people out there, not just in videos, but like in real life. I've preached to them, you know what, just enjoy the moment you are in. Whether it's like building something or traveling or going to a national park the first time, you know, put down the camera and enjoy the moment. And I wanted to do that at season 2 of Gutted, because season 1 of Gutted was very focused on building the rig, and season 2, I was able to step away and I was able to judge. I was a judge this year, and I was able to like watch the process of everybody, watch the roller coaster of emotions that I went through the year before, disconnected myself from everything. I did not open my laptop at all. I didn't go to emails. I was just present in the moment, and it felt fantastic. You want to call it a vacation, call it a vacation. I was actually working. That to me was a vacation because I was able to reset a lot of things, get a lot of things fixed here, you know, a building standpoint from just a life standpoint, and it felt really, really good. But now I am back to work, and I also went to HART Tools, and it was fantastic. I was able to see, you know, my HART family, which is great. Got to try out some new tools, and even more importantly, I was able to help build 40 beds for, you know, children in need or have the opportunity to not sleep on a floor. So that was a good cause. I think it was Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So I think it was a good thing just for me to do that, period. So anyways, now we're back. We're back to the tiny house. In this video, I want to talk about the sheathing. It is like 98% done. There's a little metal strip at the top you might be able to see in the video way up there. And then I can go around this side. I'm gonna have to walk around a boat now. I caught Glacier chewing on something. I got a whiteboard for organization. So excited about that. Up there, hopefully lighting's okay, but I can climb this ladder. You guys can see, I just have some strips I gotta do. Strip in there, all the way down. And then to finish up the outside sheathing, which is zip wall, by the way, or zip sheathing. Not zip wall, but zip sheathing. This is the tape that they use. I'm gonna do all of that. It just rolls on. Bada bing, bada boom. Your entire house is sealed up, ready to go. So I gotta tape all that. I gotta use the roller to roll it all on. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna say it again because I've already said it a million times, but I'm gonna say it again. I don't do like tutorial videos on how to do something. That's not what this channel is about. This channel is about the projects that I've been working on or that I am doing, etc. and so forth. I do show some tips and tricks, but I don't do like, this is how you roll on zip sheathing tape or whatever. Plenty of other channels that do that kind of stuff. In my opinion, they're a little boring, so I just wanted to kind of liven it up a little bit. So a couple things I'm gonna talk about right here that are up for opinions. I had the opportunity to order that house the way that it is right now. Actually would have been taped up and all sealed and all pretty. I could have ordered it this way, right here, boom, done. Big green monster. I could have ordered it this way. All framed up, all assembled. I don't know how much more expensive it would have been. I think it would have been like another 10, maybe 12,000. The trailer would have been insulated, it would have been subfloored, it would have been framed, it would have been all attached, zip sheathing on, etc. and so forth. Somewhere in the middle of all of that, you know, sheathing escapade that I went through with my father, I said to him, yeah, it's pretty much worth it to just pay them to do that. Really glad that I was able to experience it. I was able to do it myself. And yes, technically you could say that I saved that amount of money, but listen, I still had to pay for the insulators to come in and spray foam the trailer. I still had to pay for all of the zip sheathing. I want to say it actually wasn't that expensive. And I'm actually in my truck right now are 4 to 5 sheets that I'm going to return because I didn't use them all. I ordered 30. On a 24 by 8 foot trailer, I used, and there's so 25 sheets. And I've got a lot of left over. Look, I'm keeping an extra couple sheets right there, and I've got lots of scrap over there to finish off what I showed you. If and when I do another tiny house, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to, it's just a matter of when. It's just kind of like, am I gonna do another van? Yeah, of course I'm gonna do another van. When? I don't know, but I'm gonna do one. After I get my shop space, yeah, I'll probably do another van, everybody. That shouldn't be a shocker to everybody. If and when I do another tiny house, I am more than likely going to just pay them to do that work. Not that I don't like doing this work, like I said, it's just a lot easier. I'm glad I got to experience the process. However, I'd rather save up the extra 10 grand and just pay them do it because it's just, and I think they have a payment plan, but I just feel like it's a lot easier that way because I get to do the fun stuff, which is the inside. But yeah, I still have to cut out the windows. So I still have to cut these out. Cut this out. You know, these are all my windows up top. I got a couple windows up there I'm gonna cut out. Dad and I were actually butting heads a little bit on this one. He wanted to cut out the windows like on the table when we were putting up the up the sheathing, right? And I said, no, I'm just gonna take a router bit and I'll just, you know, router them out. It's a lot easier that way. You know, like a trim router bit or a flush router bit and just kind of go around the edges. I don't know where that router bit is. Let's see if I have one. You can look them up. It's just a flush router bit. So it's just this guy right here. You guys can see it. It's got a little ball bearing onto whatever you want to set the depth to. So in this case, it goes through the zip wall, right? I punch a hole through it, and then I turn the router on, and then it'll sit and it'll go like, you know, around wherever whatever window size I want to do. So okay, so you guys pretty much understand now the zip wall. There's 2 different ways you can put it on. In the video that I've already showed, the time lapse, you may notice that I used adhesive, using an adhesive as well as screws to punch into the sheathing into the metal frame. We use self-tappers, big old self-tappers actually. They're self-drilling screws, wood to metal. I think we got them at the hardware store, but they look like that. 1 7/16 inch. The sheathing is 7/16, 1 inch, plenty of catch to get there. By the way, using 5/8 on the roof. So 7/16 on the wall, 5/8 on the roof. Why is that? Because that's actually code. I mentioned that you can screw that in, you adhesive and then a screw, but they also recommend using a nail gun. There is a finished nail gun that I believe is actually made for this. We were about 80% done, and I was just like, man, we should have got the nail gun. It would have been life a heck of a lot easier. I think you can rent it, or I would have paid a couple $100 to just nail in that sucker, because screwing in like hundreds of screws, there's actually like online, you can actually find the installation like PDF, which is like, it's like 20 pages long, on how to install the zip sheathing. But it's a very large document. The nail gun is probably just easier. Oh, you guys might be able to see this table behind me. I actually want to show this real quick before we end the video. I started doing this little cool table, which is behind me, and I actually screwed it up. So this is a good lesson, as in, not that it's bad, it's just a good lesson to be like, everybody can screw up, everybody makes mistakes, it is what it is. Here's a quick little clip of me making it. All right, so that was the table, and how did I mess it up? Well, I think I used the wrong epoxy to do the top coat. I could have used the wrong epoxy. I have a couple epoxies up against that wall over there, but I think I just used the wrong one. I think it just cured way too quickly. In that process, there was just too much air bubbles, and I kind of messed it all up. This is a really cool idea, though. The next one will be better, I promise. Cool, though, right? I wanted to do a lagoon table. I was gonna do a giveaway. So maybe I'll do another one, and I've got plenty of this Baltic birch left. But it was fun. I just took an angle grinder with a wood carving blade, and I just carved into it. It took me a while, though. Yeah, and then I took a router, and then I just routered in the river. Kind of free-handed. It was fun. Anyways, enough about that. So on the tiny house, what do we have done? The frame in. We've got the floor insulated. We've got the sheathing on. I messed up a table. Good stuff. Next, I have to run all of my wiring, which is right down here. 120 volt wiring, I got 12 volt wiring. We're gonna talk a little bit of electrical, what I'm gonna do for electrical. You know, I want this thing to be off grid. I want it to be the best tiny house anyone's ever seen. I'm getting my radiant floor kit. Hopefully that's coming in. So maybe we can, I can't show the install of it because there's some proprietary stuff there, but we're gonna talk a little bit about this. So the entire floor is gonna have a radiant floor, which is going to be awesome because I'm going to be on the Northeast. I've got some other products over here that I am going to talk about. I've got a really cool compact dishwasher. Actually, that company's really cool and they've been good to me. So I'm going to put that link in the description below for everybody, but we are going to do another video about all of my products. This is by far the biggest, not obstacle, but it's definitely been the biggest and hardest thing I've had to do. The vans, I feel like I shouldn't say easy because, you know, I went through a lot doing my first van, and then my second van I learned even more, and then my third van I was a cakewalk. I think every build you get it better and better, but this is just a whole different ball game. You have to do so much planning, the products you're using, and the reason I have to do so much planning at the beginning is because when I'm running wire, I have to run it through the walls, and the walls are going to be spray foam insulated. So once you run that wire, yeah, you can run conduit through there, which I might do. But once you run that wire, boom, that's it. Want to make sure that all of my 12 volt is all set up. Water pump's going to be 12 volt. My refrigerator is going to be 12 volt. The lights are all going to be 12 volt. I'm going to have a washer dryer in here. That's 120 volt. Oh, I got a big tank. I don't know if you saw that thing, the 98-gallon tank. Heating system is technically 12 volt, but also either diesel or propane run, probably diesel. We'll figure that out when I get there. All my cooking is gonna be 120 volt. I can't do 12 volt cooking. Probably gonna use the Brava oven, but I'm gonna talk a lot about that in the product video, and I'm gonna kind of try to go over all the different products and what you have to think about and why you're gonna be doing certain things. At that HART event, I found it really interesting. You guys may have seen her if you watched the video. My friend Alyssa was talking to me about the tiny house build, and she is a really good builder and renovator and just really knowledgeable. And when we started talking about my tiny house, she just was like, I had no idea there was that much that went into it. She goes, I just thought we were building a house. She realized right there in that moment that a tiny house is way more complicated than a regular home build. There's a lot more that you have to do, a lot more you have to think about when building a tiny house or when building a van, right? There's just a lot more that goes into these than what everybody thinks it is. It is not like building a house. A lot of similarities, 70, 80% of similarities, but there's that last, 20, 30% that's just the difference between having a tiny house compared to a standard stick and brick house. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.